Hello everyone, and welcome back to History of Philippi, and to our second episode on the coal mining industry. In this episode, we'll be looking at the dangers that came with working in the coal mining industry of West Virginia, and how the industry became safer over time. Originally, mining in West Virginia was a bit more precarious and dangerous than it is today, with West Virginia having the highest miner death rate between 1890 to 1912, as well as the Monongah mining disaster that occurred on December 6, 1907 in Monongah, West Virginia. The explosion of this accident would claim the lives of 362 people and become the worst mining disaster in US history. So new safety measures are created and evolve over time. For example, miner hard hats originally used flames fueled by oil for lighting within the mines, but these flames would cause explosions with too much methane buildup in the air. Thus, they were later replaced with much safer battery-powered lights. Air quality and pressure is also a concern, since mines can become unworkable if there's too much methane gas in the air. So air spotters like these were used to measure the amount of methane currently in the air, as well as a couple other handy tools presented by former mine supervisor Larry Jones as I asked him about his experiences.
In the mines, after I came back from Vietnam, there was not much work here unless you went in the mines or left the state and went to work in the auto industry. But I chose to go in the mines. I worked 51 years underground in the mines. And in the early 70s, Philippi was a boom coal town. The company that I worked for was called Badger Coal, and they were a subsidiary of Pittston Coal, which was based in Virginia. Had coal mines all over. We had 5 mines right here in Philippi, almost in the city limits. And also at that time, there was Kit Energy, where the Arch mine is. At one point, they had over 800 employees.
Ooh.
And then Bethlehem Steel up at Century had 5 mines. Plus, there was 2 or 3 strip jobs here. So the coal industry was a big thing in Philippi at that time.
Indeed.
And it was big up until the early to mid 80s, and then the coal business just kind of went bust, and all the mines closed and everybody got laid off, and it's never really recovered to that's the point it was. So I worked for Badger Coal for 17 years before they went out of business. And then I went to work for a small company, a family-owned coal mine, 1-unit mine. And then I went to work for Anchor Energy after they bought this mines down in Philippi. And I worked 12 years for them. Most all my time as a supervisor. And then I went to work for Consolidated Coal. And I worked for them until I retired.
Oh,
In
nice.
2018, I retired from the Robinson Run or Harrison County mine. And like I say, most of all that time I worked as a supervisor in mid to upper management.
Ooh, nice.
So, seen a lot of changes in the coal industry over the years. At this point, the mines are run mostly with computers.
Right.
You know, everything's computerized, and people are tracked underground. People outside know exactly where you are, which became part of the Sago disaster when those guys lost their lives up there. The new laws came in that you had to wear a tracking device. So they can see where you're at underground at all times. And they run their belts by computer outside, their fans, everything's computerized.
Right.
So big difference in 51 years in the mine.
Yeah.
But I don't know, that's the extent of my career. Like I say, I spent 51 years in the mines, and most of it is mid to upper management.
Right.
But when you had to be very careful, if you got in too much methane, it could pull that flame out top and cause an explosion.
Oh, okay. That's... Huh.
In the very, very early days, I know you probably heard they used canaries.
Yes, yeah.
And when the canary died,
The air was too much.
oxygen.
Yeah, the air was too toxic to breathe.
Yeah. So much air to reach the working faces.
Yeah.
So much in the last crosscut. So much in the return. That's part of your job as a supervisor, is that you hold this anemometer, and as the air goes through it, you hold it up and down
Yeah.
and go across the whole width of the entry.
Okay.
Okay?
Even today, mining machinery would automatically shut down if methane levels got too high. But after many of these accidents occurred, new legislation is created to keep miners safe. The first example being the Farmington mine disaster of 1968, located north of Farmington, West Virginia, which claimed the lives of 78 miners. This accident created the Mine Safety and Health Act, the Mine Safety and Health Administration, and increased federal inspections of mines. A more recent example being the 2006 Sago mine disaster in Sago, West Virginia, trapping 13 miners underground for 2 days with only one surviving. This created West Virginia legislation SB 247. This legislation created a new mine emergency response system and enforced mine companies to provide additional emergency air supplies, communication equipment, and tracking devices. Through all these efforts, mine safety has greatly improved, with tragic mining accidents being greatly reduced. The coal mining industry became a much safer industry to work in with all these advancements, and it affected the mines here as well in Barbour County, which many residents still work in to this day and has its own small history, which will be your topic for next episode. Thank you so much for watching this episode of History of Philippi, and I hope you'll be looking forward to the next one. Until next time, take care everyone!